Welcome to 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili, and thank you for joining us. Welcome, Mr. Leggett. How are you?
I'm delighted to be back. Thank you.
Thank you. We didn't sit down last month, but here we are again, and a whole lot happened in Montgomery County during the last 60 days or so. But let's get started with an event that recently took place regarding you yourself asking the state of Maryland for more funding for MCPS, Montgomery County Public Schools.
Yeah, one of the challenges we've had, I think we've done an excellent job over the last few years of providing operational funds for the school system. As you know, the school system, when you look at all of its budgetary items total, probably comprises well over 50% of the county's budget. That's a fairly significant amount. They spend it very well, I think. There are some challenges that we have in terms of utilizing the monies. On the other side as relates to the capital budget, because the county school system has been growing at a rate of about 2,000 students per year. That's over the last 5 years. So if you total that number up, that's about 10, 11,000 students in total. Each 2,000 is comparable to, say for example, a high school. The growth in our school system is larger than some of the entire school systems in the state of Maryland, just the growth of that 10,000 number. So the challenge for us now is to do two things on the capital side. One side is to, in fact, make certain that we have the capacity to deal with the increased enrollment so that all the students are comfortable within a school building in and of itself and not in the temporary locations. The second part of it is also to make certain that the schools that we have are upgraded in terms of the maintenance, the leaks in the roofs, those kinds of things. So we're trying to deal with the ongoing maintenance challenges within schools, as well as capacity. And so we need additional resources in order to accomplish that.
When you say additional resources, how much are we talking about?
Well, it could vary, but I think that if you look at the program comprehensively over the next 6 years, you'd be talking about probably as much as another half a billion to $600 million. Now, the trick here is to utilize bonding capacity outside of Montgomery County. We were fortunate to look at a model that occurred last year in the General Assembly, one that at the time, I supported, that is the increase in aid going to Baltimore, whereby they were able to bring together, under the state authority, additional monies locally, as well as some infusion of monies from the state to allow them to borrow even more to anticipate and to deal with their maintenance problems and the adequacy problems in Baltimore. Well, when I did that, I said at the time, if the state accepted that model, it would be a model that I would hope that Montgomery County can follow. And so what I've been doing as one of the vice presidents of MACO is to urge other counties to look at that model. We are going to look at it from Montgomery County's perspective and try to come up with a model of our own, replicating what we got approved last year for the city of Baltimore. And if we're able to do that, then that should provide us some additional relief that we can utilize in order to get at that very, very difficult challenge of capital needs within our school system.
And feedback from the state, what will you foresee happening?
Well, it's a state matter in terms of getting that additional capacity. It's a state matter as it deals with the stadium authority. We will have to go back to the state in order for them to, in fact, approve this type of an approach. So we will be doing this in the spring, and hopefully we can get some relief. But this is a program that we're looking at for the next 6 years, so it's not something you'd have in year one for $600,000, but hopefully it will be something that you'd have over a period of time.
Let's transition to the federal government shutdown that we all experienced in the country. What was the actual impact overall in Montgomery County as far as 70,000 plus federal employees that do reside in the county and the hundreds of businesses that do contracting with the federal government?
Well, we're still in the process of evaluating that. We do know that when you have as many as 70,000 county employees that are working for the federal government, that when you look at the income tax impact to that to Montgomery County alone, that's about $500,000, $500,000 per day. Now in this case, Congress did in fact pass legislation that allowed the federal employees to receive their back pay for the time that was lost. So we will not lose from that perspective. But there are other areas that we are still evaluating. For example, there are large numbers of federal contractors, many of whom did not have the kind of flexibility to get paid for the absence of the time that they were not actually working. And so that's a loss to them, and therefore it's a loss in income tax receipt for the county. We have not measured that yet. We're still looking to evaluate that to see the real impact of that. In addition to that, one of the things that also happened is that people cut back on expenditures. Bars, restaurants, the hotel, motel tax, expenditures that people normally would make when they know that they are gainfully employed, they know that they're going to get a paycheck at a certain period of time. Many of those sort of discretionary expenditures, they no longer will make. But also look at some of the institutions within Maryland. In Glen Echo, for example, we have a venue there that is operated by the county, but when the federal government shut down, they shut a facility down which the county was operating on federal land. Well, that didn't make any sense to me that we would close that facility because we were not relying on federal monies. It was basically county monies to operate that. Very little money and very little involvement from the federal government was involved in that, yet they closed it down. The impact of that was about $35,000 per day for the various venues at that location. And so one of the things that I'd urge was that the county should literally go back in and open the facility up. In fact, I even indicated that I was going to go and open it up myself, and I was prepared to do that. And people said, well, you may be arrested for trespass. So, well, it was going to be an act of civil disobedience on my part, and we'll see just what happened with that.
Well, they did.
But fortunately, we didn't have to go that far.
And they decided to open the government. Part of what took place during that period was a meeting of what's called the Big Four, which is the top leaders for the main largest metro jurisdictions, Prince George's County, the district, obviously yourself, Montgomery County, and Fairfax County. When all of you met, what was the common biggest concern regarding this particular shutdown?
Well, it was a combination of things. Number one, the District of Columbia, we felt was being treated unfairly. The district could not utilize its own monies, its own resources. And all of us in the region are impacted as a result of that, because when people come to this area and they come to the District of Columbia, they oftentimes spend monies in neighboring jurisdictions. So if they felt that the district was closed, then they're not going to come to the Washington region, and therefore we're all adversely affected by that. They were not allowed to utilize the funds that the district had collected for operation for the services within the District of Columbia. We felt, number one, that that was wrong.
Thank you, Mr. Lair. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with County Executive Ike Leggett.
There's a reason why area law enforcement are out enforcing pedestrian and traffic safety laws and preventing killer pedestrian crashes. Be alert. Be street smart.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Are you sure they can recycle us, Clamshell?
Hey, Dome, we're on a new recycling postcard.
I can't wait to make a new start. Maybe I'll be a red carpet at a big premiere.
And I'll get to paint the White House.
Shh, here he comes.
Now you can recycle more plastics in Montgomery County, including #1 PET plastics such as clamshells, deli containers, trays, lids, domes, and cups.
We're in!
For more information on recycling, contact the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311. The wait is over. Recycle more plastics today.
Welcome back to 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Legg, and I'm Lorna Virgili. Thank you for continuing watching. We're talking about the federal government shutdown and the impact in Montgomery County. Now, one of the main concerns was obviously preserving that AAA rating that Montgomery County has held. You recently took a trip to New York, Wall Street, right?
Yes, we did. We took a team from the county to go to Wall Street and also involved members of the county council as well. And basically what we are doing is to make the case as to why Montgomery County should continue to have its AAA bond rating. As you know, we've had to go through a transition in the county over the last few years to ensure that our budgets, our long-term future was sustainable. That is, that we can meet our ongoing obligations in a way that I think made us the top in terms of credit worthiness. It's an ongoing process. You do this annually so that you don't get it once and you've gotten forever, but you have to go back and basically demonstrate to Wall Street why you should have that. And so we made overtures and presentations to Moody's, Fitch, Standard & Poor's, and to justify why we have the AAA bond rating and why we should continue to have that as well. Now, for us, I think the news should be and has been fairly good for us because we've met all of the obligations that we indicated to them that we were going to meet some years ago in terms of our indebtedness, how much we were going to actually borrow, in terms of our reserves. The reserves that we have in Montgomery County now at 8.1% is the highest in the history of the county. Let me repeat that. The reserves that we have in the county today are the highest in the history of the county. And we plan to increase that. We've reduced significantly. We only have one more year to go in that uptick for OPEB funding and so forth. We are meeting our target in terms of pay-go. We're meeting all of the targets that we've indicated that we would meet in terms of our indebtedness. And I think that Wall Street is very pleased with the progress that we've made, especially given the difficult times that we've emerged as a result of the actions that we've taken over the last few years.
Talking about trips, you did wrap up a mission to China, 10 days, 4 cities, a sister city agreement with the city of Xi'an, and some economic development agreements as well. So can you give us an overview of that trip to China?
It was a wonderful trip. We visited 4 cities. We went to Beijing, Shanghai, Binxi, and Xi'an. We actually signed a sister city agreement with the city of Xi'an. Now, Xi'an is the city where you have the terracotta warriors that people are familiar with, but it also has a very, very large industrial and technology park that is probably 1/3 the entire size of Montgomery County. The park alone has somewhere in the neighborhood of 26,000 businesses, and they register about 16 businesses per year. It's a natural for us in terms of technology because we have a fairly large technology sector here. It's a natural for us in terms of biotechnology, which we have a very strong presence in Montgomery County. But the trip is one for which the county does not pay. It's basically by sponsors and people pay individually to go and to go with us in order to help to promote Montgomery County. From a business standpoint of view, we made an awful lot of contacts and we're looking very extensively at programs, services, and connectivity with our technology parks here in Montgomery County. And our business people are following through on many of the contacts that they've made. We also are looking at a program to enhance and to make even better the Montgomery County Health Innovation Program, whereby the Chinese will probably do some investment and come and participate in that program as well. When you look at all the things that we've accomplished, and the Chinese have made an investment in that area already, it is beyond belief how we were able to accomplish so much in such a relatively short period of time. I want to congratulate everybody who was involved in that. Lily, who was involved in that from our office, who's over special projects, Office of Economic Development, and the entire team, the Office of Community Partnership, all of the people who attended. We had about 90 people from Montgomery County to go. And again, this was not at county expense at all. This was done by individuals, by sponsors, and by businesses, all designed to help promote Montgomery County. And so I was quite delighted with the trip. We will have continuations of meetings that are ongoing now, where they are now coming to follow up on some of the contacts we've made in China as well.
So there's going to be a lot of follow-up back and forth.
Yes.
And ultimately is about job creation.
Oh, it is. Well, it's also about the other connectivity to that, because when you know people better, when you understand the culture, the language, and you have better communication, then the job creation is easier to accomplish when you're dealing with people from a distance. So by breaking down those barriers and getting to know people better, to develop the sister-city relationships, it helps you to create the environment, if you will, to ensure that you have successful businesses. And when you have successful businesses that are working in an international climate, it's going to help create jobs and help enhance our tax benefits here in Montgomery County. But Montgomery County, beyond just the Chinese, we have large interests in all of Asia, for example, in South Korea, in India as well. Those places, those locations continue to work with us as well.
Talking about businesses, there is legislation pending in County Council about the minimum wage, the salary for the minimum wage to be raised to a maximum of $11.50 per hour. Do you foresee that having an impact for the small business community, paying employees? How do you foresee this entire legislation?
Yeah, legislation introduced by Councilmember Mark Eldridge. I think that the intent here is to make certain that you get up to that level. It is something that I supported even going back some years ago when I supported the state increase of about $10 per year for a statewide minimum increase. So the debate now is whether you have a statewide bill, whether you go to a local bill to phase it in. On one side of that argument is the argument that in Montgomery County, the cost of living here is much higher than, say, some other places around the state, and therefore it justifies a higher amount. On the other hand, having a comprehensive statewide bill helps all of us because you cannot trade one jurisdiction off against the other because we're part of one overall state. But I support the increase. I supported the $10 increase some time ago, and I believe that if we can either phase it in or have a statewide bill, it will be helpful. But if none of that fails, then I'm prepared to at least deal with a local bill here in Montgomery County.
The Affordable Care Act enrollment began earlier on October 1st, and the county actually partnered with about 10 nonprofit organizations to get the word out for individuals who would qualify to get enrolled. Have you heard any feedback as far as challenges perhaps and what needs to be done to get the word out so people actually enroll within the time frame required by the federal government?
Well, certainly we've heard about challenges, and there are some challenges, and the rollout has not been as smooth as it should be. But let's keep that in perspective. There's a long period of time which people to enroll, to look at, to evaluate, and make an informed decision about what they want to do. And so you have to keep that in perspective, because as you go forward, you have to balance the challenges and difficulties of the rollout versus the prospects of having health insurance for people heretofore who had not been able to have health insurance. And so we have to keep all of that in perspective. So I hope and I believe now that those problems are being resolved, but you have to balance again the fact that people now have the opportunity, access to health care versus the challenges that you face with the rollout. And I think those are going to be resolved. And hopefully at some period of time in the future, we'll have all of this working smoothly and we'll have this act working as intended. So if we are careful about how we proceed, then I think that we're going to be okay.
We're going to take another short break, Mr. Leggett, and we'll be right back with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. Stay tuned.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
That's low. That's low. Look, he's blushing. Seriously.
If it wasn't for his doctor, he wouldn't be here.
If it weren't for Montgomery County Fire and Rescue, he wouldn't be here.
If it wasn't for the phone call, we wouldn't have been there.
If I didn't call, I don't know where we would be.
Montgomery County emergency responders are there when you need help at no cost to you. In an emergency, don't ever hesitate to call 911. If you live in Montgomery County, you will never get a bill or pay a dime.
So if you have an emergency, call us. We're there for you.
Welcome back to 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili, and thank you for continuing to watch. Mr. Leggett, recently you and Councilmember George Leventhal launched a campaign, Give a Hand Up, Not a Handout, and it is destined to deal with panhandling in Montgomery County. Have you seen any results already from that campaign where basically county residents were asked to not give money to people who are panhandling our streets, but to text and do a contribution?
Well, believe it or not, I have seen fewer people on the street, but that's my own individual observation. There's no empirical data to suggest that there has been a significant reduction to the number of people out panhandling. We will continue to have panhandling regardless of what happens in terms of this effort that we've initiated with Councilmember George Leventhal. But the challenge here for us is twofold. Number one, to recognize that people who are panhandling present a safety threat to themselves and potentially to motorists along our highways and our intersections. Secondly, there's a recognition that we are encouraging more panhandling by giving direct cash. There is a belief based on some analysis that by giving the cash to people, that they're not spending the resources that they get in a way that deals with many of the problems and challenges that they currently have. And then thirdly, there are other more productive and efficient ways in which to help. That is, we've set up a series of programs and services within the county that will help people who are homeless, that will help people who are hungry, that will help people with housing challenges and other issues that they may have in the county. Many of these programs work very well, and our challenge is to make certain that we get the people in. When you give money to people directly, oftentimes they spend it for things that are not designed to necessarily help them along those areas of housing, food that they may need, and shelter and what have you. So if you want to give, we encourage you to give. You can give by going directly online to give, and we will take the monies, place them within the programs and services we have, and distribute it to the very people who need them out on the street. But when you give money, you only encourage people to come out more often. And then secondly, it's not going to the programs and services that they need to deal with the challenges they're facing.
Another way that residents can help out is by texting the word share to 80077, 80077. Let's transition to affordable housing and senior citizens. Recently, you participated in the opening of Vector Court Senior Affordable Housing Units, 86 units right around the corner from here in Rockville. That was built rather fast. I remember the groundbreaking just a few months ago, and all of a sudden, the apartments are there.
Well, it didn't happen quite that fast. It was a long struggle and challenge we had to deal with, but one that proved ultimately to be successful. There were some challenges within the neighborhood. We had to deal with the complications and difficulties of the permitting process and some legitimate concerns that the city of Rockville had raised about the housing units in and of itself. But ultimately, it was done and completed. The 86 plus units. A good number of those units are market price housing, but there are also a significant number that are affordable units for the public and seniors as well. Now, keep in mind what we've done over the last few years. Over the last few years that I've been here, we've actually constructed, maintained, or enhanced 8,000 affordable housing units, and people find that to be astonishing. But we were able to do that with some creative financing, determining that we can borrow as opposed to using a lot of the money from the operating budgets, taking advantage of some of the challenges that were faced in the market, partnering with some of the community partners, nonprofit partners throughout the area. That has allowed us to build an enlarged number of houses. Unfortunately, the 8,000 that I'm talking about is only a portion of what is needed in this county at this point in time. But the real challenge for us going forward would be senior housing. How can we deal more effectively with providing more housing to the growing number of seniors in Montgomery County? Victory Court is just another example of what we're doing. If you look at the Silver Spring Library, adjacent to the library as part of that project is a senior housing component right adjacent to the library as well.
Let's talk about another favorite topic of yours, which is transportation. Recently, the governor, Martin O'Malley, announced that $400 million will be allocated for the Purple Line. We've heard about this Purple Line. When are we actually going to see it in the county? You know, east-west, Prince George's, Montgomery County. And for those who advocate against it, that feel that it's necessary, what do you have to say?
Well, there are some legitimate concerns about those who advocated against it, people who are concerned about the traffic, the noise along the right-of-way, and that's something that obviously we have to look at and try to respond to. There are people who feel that the trail may be compromised. All of those things are legitimate concerns, and the citizens should raise those. We are looking at ways in which to help to mitigate some of those challenges and make certain that those challenges are resolved. But those are some very strong, legitimate challenges that people have a right to raise. But when you look at overall transportation that's been provided, keep in mind where that money comes from. The money comes as a result of the increase in the state's gasoline tax. This is something that I advocated for and pushed many years ago, and finally the state now has approved that, which now provides us with resources not only to look at the east-west transportation between New Carrollton and Silver Spring and all the way around to Bethesda, but also the Watkins Mill Exchange at 270, what we have in the Carter City, Brookville Bypass. All of that comes as a result of the efforts that we were able to make by pushing for an increase in the gasoline tax to replenish the state's transportation trust fund, which obviously at this point in time did not have sufficient funds. So I think I was proven right about my advocacy for it, and I'm only disappointed that we did not do it sooner to address many of the transportation needs here in Montgomery County.
Another method of transportation, bicycles. So the bike share plan is officially in Montgomery County. You were there for the opening of one of the first bike share stations. We're going to have over 51 stations in the county and close to 500 bikes or so. It's not going to be the new method here in the county.
Well, we're going to increase not only bike sharing, but make certain that people are well connected in the community with trails, sidewalks, and all of the things that would make that efficient. We kicked it off with a huge a rally and a thank you for those who've been involved in this process for a number of years in Rockville. But as you indicated, we have 51 stations throughout the county, and most importantly, you need to look at the areas right near Metro in Silver Spring, Bethesda, Friendship Heights, Rockville, all designed to enhance the transportation option for our community.
All right, so are you going to bike to work?
Yes, I'll be able to do that only if we can get up and down 29. I'm a far distance out from the
That's
local community.
A tough ride.
It's a tough ride.
You'll get in better shape.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Leggett, for joining us today again. And for you watching, any information regarding our county, do visit montgomerycountymd.gov. I'm Lorna Virgili, and thank you for watching.
Montgomery County residents with computers, smartphones, and other electronic devices now have convenient access to a growing variety of information. Visit montgomerycountymd.gov/open to discover how Montgomery County government is more transparent, accessible, and efficient than ever. Access Montgomery links digital services related to accountability, accessibility, and transparency, including MC311 and County Stat performance tracking. You can link to internal audits, spending disclosures, contracts, open solicitations, budgets, and free Wi-Fi locations in the county. Data Montgomery offers such information as access to employee salaries, food safety inspections, cable complaints, and residential and commercial building permits. Engage Montgomery is the new social media platform that encourages public participation on key issues and offers a place where people can share ideas on ways to improve the community. Mobile Montgomery details the county's mobile sites like MC311 and transportation storm operations, library book mine, crime reports, and Ride on Real Time. The new open government efforts are expected to move Montgomery County towards even greater service improvements and efficiencies. We hope you'll take a look and let us know what you think by calling 240-777-6507 or emailing publicinformation@montgomerycountymd.gov.